Everyone always talks about looking for the right person or finding the one, and no one ever talks about being that right person for someone else. And this is one of the biggest problems when it comes to modern dating and relationships. People constantly talk about their needs and their wants and their green flags this and red flags that, and their standards, don't settle for less, know your worth, all that crap. People have their mentalities completely warped, and you think you deserve X, Y, and Z just because. It's like, how can this person qualify to my standards type of mentality without looking at themselves? It's fine to have standards, just don't think you deserve those standards for just existing. You have to actively work on yourself. No one really works on themselves anymore, and I'm not even talking about getting your money up, elevating your status, your career, your position in life, your physique, your looks, your aesthetic, vanity, what else? Your lifestyle, your assets, your social life, your network. I'm talking about who you are as a person, and not a lot of people work on themselves in this aspect. When you ask people what they want in life, it's almost always money, status, vanity, lifestyle, etc. Like, think about it. How often do you hear someone say, I want to be a better person, or I'm trying to be a better person. I want to be a good wife, a good husband, a good mother, a good father. I want to be a good friend, a good coworker, a good leader. Like, I want to be a good person. And no one really wants to hear this because it's boring. It's not attractive. Like, what? Work on myself? Be a better person? But genuinely, it's like, how often do you spend time working on being a better person as opposed to all these things that you want in life, or even the person you want in life? And that's the core issue. It's a selfish undertone that society's developed in the age of social media. Everyone's talking about what they want and what they deserve, and of course in a relationship it should be adding to your life in some way, but you're also supposed to give. And again, this isn't something that you hear often. What can you give to the relationship, like to this other person, the right person? How can you add to their life? And it's hard to accept because we always want to know what we can get out of any situation. And the reason for this is because a lot of people are unfulfilled and unhappy. So naturally you start searching for that someone else to fill that void. And you think to yourself, what can I get from this person? How can he or she fulfill me? How can they bring me happiness? Does he have enough money? How much money does he make? Is her body nice enough? What's her lifestyle like? What's his lifestyle like? Or what kind of car does he drive? Or what's his credit score looking like? What does he do for a living? Or how many boyfriends has she had? And this kind of mindset, this mentality is being reinforced by what you see on social media and also a lot of traditional forms of media like Hollywood movies, as it pertains to what people expect from romantic relationships. I mean, I think more so girls when it comes to guys on this. Just in terms of the way media has affected our views on romantic relationships, they fantasize about a soulmate or the right one, the right person, when in reality it's like there's almost 8 billion people in the world. There's no such thing as the one. That person becomes the one by being that person that sticks by your side and loves you to the end. And not because they're settling, because there's a lot of people that stay in marriages or relationships that are unhappy all the time. Looking for someone else to fill what you're missing inside is never gonna work out if you're not right within yourself. Because let's say you're lonely and unhappy, right? And you begin searching for a partner subconsciously to fill that void, in order to bring you joy and happiness, to fill your loneliness. Let's say you did find the right person. You will inevitably drag that other person down because that unhappiness and loneliness that you felt before is going to manifest itself in the relationship in many different ways. And the most dangerous part about this is you're not going to understand why. And then the relationship isn't going to end well, and you're going to have a warped mindset about why it didn't work out and carry that on to your next relationship. All because you weren't right within yourself when you were looking for the right person and you had all these expectations in a relationship. Like, think about this. How many people get out of relationships thinking, oh, they just weren't the right one? Everyone. Even I had this mentality before. Not to say that there isn't any truth to that, because obviously some people get together for the worst reasons. Like, a good night and some vibes does the trick for a lot of younger people. Especially for a lot of young guys, because you're thinking with the other head. Not many people have the mindset of, oh, it didn't work out because of X, Y, and Z, and I'll go into my next relationship doing X, Y, and Z better. And it's so easy to want to villainize that person because they weren't the right one. And again, it's okay to have standards and expectations. You just gotta make sure that you're worthy of what you want, not just by superficial metrics overvalued by society. But it's like who you are as a person, like your character. Because you can have all those things, money, aesthetics, lifestyle, network, all of it. If you're not right within yourself, your relationship ain't gonna work out. Become what you want and you'll attract what you are. I don't know if that's like the law of attraction, spirituality thing. I'm not really into that. But even from a logical perspective, it makes sense. Because you gravitate towards and attract people that are like you. And this applies to everyone, and we should all strive to be that person for someone else. And I'm not gonna make this a whole sexist thing. I love women, I love women, I love women. You always gotta preface that now. But it is kind of safe to say that guys are way more obsessed with self-improvement. And from my experience, maybe it's not the case. A lot of girls, and again, not all, because someone's gonna get mad at semantics if you generalize, but a lot of girls, whenever they speak about what they want out of a man or a significant other, it almost always comes with an entitled undertone. Like, they deserve what they're looking for just because. And it's like, you don't deserve that just because that's what you want. And I know I'm right on this because you'll never hear a guy going to his homie and saying, "Know your worth, king." And if he does, he's probably gay. But "know your worth, queen" is something that I've heard more than a few times, and I'm sure you have as well. Like, I'm not gonna lie, girls gotta stop gassing each other up all the time, because they tend to BS each other a lot. Again, not all, but a good amount. This whole finding the right person mentality is becoming more and more prevalent to Gen Z and whatever generation is afterwards. It's a self-centered attitude that's void of any genuine self-improvement, because you're obsessed with self-worth and self-love to a point of delusion. And guys don't really gas each other up like that. We just kind of roast each other all the time. If a guy was sitting in his drawers playing video games, fat, out of shape, doing nothing, it would make absolutely no sense for him to believe that he deserves X, Y, and Z. And just to make this even, I know I don't deserve what I'm looking for right now, which is why I'm not looking. And to me, I think I've gotten to a point where I subconsciously believe that I'll never deserve her. And no matter what I do, there's a sick part of me that wants that to be the reality. It's kind of like this mental trick I like to play on myself, but it's because I feel like I need something to constantly fight for, which is how most guys are. We need something to fight for, otherwise you just become a vegetable. Like, think about when you get in a relationship, right? You lose your edge. You start getting comfortable and out of shape. You get skinny fat, unmotivated, which is why relationship weight is a thing. You start to become complacent because you think, well, I got her already, and then you stop doing all the things that made you attractive to them in the first place. For me, it's always about becoming better and having that mindset that doesn't let me become stationary. So it's like, instead of focusing on finding that right person, I'm gonna keep trying to be that right person for someone else. And at least me personally, I think that's the best approach. Anyways, thank you for listening. I hope you're doing well. I love you. And yeah, make sure you stay true. I'll talk to you real soon. Peace.